could accept the fact that this city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion.
What do you mean, biblical?
What he means is Old Testament. Yeah, real wrath of God type stuff. Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies, rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together. That's hysteria.
Broadcasting live deep from an underground military bunker or a spaceship high above the plane of Earth. From the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam Newsman, and this is Sam-The-Vote-Thon. That's right, day number 5. Took a couple of days off, yes, Friday and Saturday. Well, Saturday, I have a radio show. Are you listening to it? Are you watching it? We started about 9:30 in the morning, Eastern time. We play cartoon themes and movie themes and video game themes and talk about cartoons and old television shows, toys, action figures, all of that fun stuff. And then, of course, around 11 o'clock, I throw the gloves off and give you a weekly rundown of exactly what really interests me in terms of political events, news, and information. How you're going to find that, though, is WDCE.net or WDCE.org. That's where you're going to find that. Oh, also, you can download the Live 365 app. Search WDCE, and you'll be able to listen to the show. Like I said, that's every Saturday morning. Well, because, I'm not sitting there thinking that you need to wake up and just see me on a Saturday morning. Of course, you'll probably say, hey, you know what? I love that beautiful puppet voice. So, of course, I want to see that beautiful puppet face. Of course, you can do that. And we're also streaming right now, like we do every single Saturday morning at 11 o'clock on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and X. That's Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and X. And that's across all social media with @SamNewsman and being mirrored also on Exertus's channels as well. And once again, that's every single Saturday morning. And, it is the Sam-The-Vote-Thon. And you're asking, of course, well, what that is. Most of you probably know already what that is. And over the last couple of days, you've been able to vote. How do you vote? And what the hell are you voting for? Well, it's very simple. How you vote is right down there. Text 127 to 804-430-5505. That's 127 to 804-430-5505. You want to do that every single day between now and August the 3rd. And what you're voting for, actually, is for me as the best local morning radio show in Central Virginia, brought to you by the Richmond Times-Dispatch. So once again, like I said, 127 is the code you want to text. And you can do that on every single cell phone in your house. So not only your cell phone, grab every one of your family members' cell phones, and you'll be able to text that number. And hopefully this year we'll be able to get over the hump. 2 years ago, we were 3rd place. Last year, we were 2nd. This year, hopefully we'll be number 1. And you have the ability to help and make that happen. We call it hacking the planet. That's what old Andreas says. Hack the planet. If you and I hack the planet and have a real award-winning media puppet win, well, that's what you do. You just text that number right down there. A couple of people in the chat already. Shout out, tip of the cap, Skydro Walker, Timothy Wright as well. I do see that it seems to be about 30 people watching across all the different channels. Like to get Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and X. So, and if you want to be a part of the chat is over here in one Exertus's channel. And also Sam Newsman on the YouTube. But I think that all the other ones do pop up as well, right? Isn't that how it works? So you should be able to chat anyway. So if you want to be a part of the conversation, just go ahead and chat. Just say whatever you need to in the chat, and I'll if it comes across and I'm able to see it, I'll give you a shout out and hopefully answer whatever questions you might have. Timothy says that I like that tie. Well, thank you, Timothy. I appreciate that. Definitely appreciate you liking the tie. And, oh, yes, there's also other ways that you can vote. Far be it from me to just tell you all you got to do is text. What you can also do is you can go to go.richmond.com/thebest. That's go.richmond.com/thebest. You can scroll down. You'll go down to the category of entertainment. Click on entertainment. Then once you click on entertainment, you're able to scroll down to best local morning radio show. And once you click on that, you'll be able to see my name, and you're able to vote for us that way as well. So you can have 2 votes every single day, one by your email, the other one by the text line. And that would be that would help out a whole lot. And once again, another way to help out, like I said, grab every cell phone in your house. Grab every cell phone in your house. And when you go to work, grab all of your coworkers' cell phones as well. Tell them, hey, listen, you need to go ahead and text that number, 127. And what you'll be doing is you'll be hacking the planet. In fact, what you will be doing is participating in broadcast history. Yes, that's right. Broadcast history, a real media puppet beating all these corporate radio shows that have been on the airwaves over the last, however long they've been on there. It doesn't really matter, but what really does matter is if you could just sit there and text that number every single day between now and August the 3rd, every single day, and go to the website, go.richmond.com/thebest, go to entertainment, go down to the best local morning radio show, and then vote for me. So, but it has been an interesting weekend. Like I said, had the show yesterday in the morning. No shows really on Friday nights. No shows on Saturday nights. Well, because we have the show on Saturday morning. But then someone told me, hey, Sam, you know what you need to do? You need to go look at the calendar. And I said, look at the calendar for what? And then all of a sudden I looked at the calendar, and you know what? Lo and behold, it's July 20th again. And you know what that means, right? Are you familiar with July 20th? What happened on July 20th? Well, hold on. Let me just rewind the clock back and just let you. And this is absolutely. I mean, it's not. Of course, you guys should know exactly what I'm talking about, because 56 glorious years. It's been 56 glorious years since we were all told humanity slapped a flag on the moon and called it progress. 56 years since Neil Armstrong took that giant leap for mankind. And America, well, it took a giant leap into the most successful piece of propaganda ever filmed. Allegedly. Sorry. Make sure I clarify that, the word allegedly. Because let's be honest, this wasn't science. It was marketing. Cold War marketing. The Soviets had Yuri doing laps around the earth while America was still trying to figure out how to keep a chimpanzee alive when it was shooting up into space. So we did what any self-respecting, insecure superpower would do. We faked it till we made it. I mean, that's what they say, right? Fake it till you make it. Or depending on how deep down the conspiracy rabbit hole you want to go, we just skipped the make it part altogether. And speaking of conspiracies, Let's see here. Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, there's a lot of them. So this is a lot of them that we could go into. But speaking of conspiracies, isn't it adorable how the cost of this little lunar project all seem to share one thing in common? I mean, you know what that one thing in common is, right? I mean, it's very simple. Freemasons. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yes, nothing screams totally authentic and not at all ritualistic like sending members of the world's most notorious secret handshake brigade to plant a flag on the moon. Aldrin, Freemason. Armstrong, Freemason. Hell, NASA itself, practically a Freemason chapter with slightly fewer robes and slightly more pocket protectors. But hey, at least in the process, you know what they did, right? Well, they hired the best. Divulgence says over here, shout out to Stanley Kubrick. So, I mean, Stanley Kubrick. Oh, yes, the man behind The Shining. 2001, A Space Odyssey. Because, I mean, let's face it, when you need someone to film man's greatest achievement in a convincing way, you don't hire a scientist. You hire a director known for tormenting actors and making them repeat scenes 147 times until they cry. Allegedly. And speaking of cameras, let's talk about those NASA lenses, shall we? Miraculously, right around the same time Kubrick was inventing ways to film candlelit scenes for Barry Lyndon, NASA suddenly has access to nearly identical technology. The kind of cameras that could survive lunar temperatures, cosmic radiation, and produce studio quality footage, all while being operated in a bulky, inflexible spacesuit. Amazing. Almost like it wasn't real. Allegedly. Now, let's not forget the most magical moment of all. I mean, you guys have seen it, right? I mean, you've seen, him getting off of the module. Of course, I'm wondering, did the cameraman step on the moon first to set up the camera? I mean, that's what I want to know, right? Because then you see him coming down the ladder. He's coming down the ladder, and then it's like, well, hold on, wait a minute. If that's one small step for man, then the cameraman was the first guy to step on the moon, right? But, I mean, there's that one. But I do want to tell you, the one that really gets me is the magical moment of the lunar module taking off from the moon's surface. My question is who filmed that? Who stayed behind to capture that iconic shot of the module ascending back up into the heavens? Did they bring a cameraman and just forget, did they just leave the cameraman there? Was there a moon-based camera drone nobody bothered to explain? Or maybe, just maybe, that's the beauty of Hollywood magic. Allegedly. Oh, and you guys have seen this, right? I mean, you guys have seen the whole Buzz Aldrin thing. The man himself has been on record telling school children point blank, we didn't go there. That's what he said. I mean, you've seen this around. I mean, Buzz Aldrin, who was one of the guys who was on the moon, he looks right at this poor little girl when she asked him about, hey, how was it going to the moon? And he says, well, you know what? We didn't go. Just casually dropping that little bombshell, between book signings. No smirk, no wink. Just a flat out, yeah, it didn't happen, sweetie. Imagine spending your whole life being told this was humanity's finest hours, only for one of the guys involved just to shrug and say, not really, allegedly. But then again, it's not like science to ever fully agree on what the moon even is. I mean, have you guys seen images and the scientists that have been on record prior to the moon landing? I mean, before it even happened, but even before even World War II, scientists thought that it was made out of plasma. It wasn't even solid. That's right, plasma. Just a giant glowing gas bubble hanging in the sky like a neon sign advertising no intelligent life beyond this point. Absolutely ridiculous. A couple of people here coming into the chat. Shout out to Real Deal. Also, shout out to Make America Green Again. And also, tip of the cap to Kinzo, Kinzo's Creation, also as well. Now, fast forward to today, and you hear about people who are trying to tell you what the moon is now. I mean, people don't even know what the moon is. They're arguing about what it is and how it's made or what's going on. Arguing if it's just a projection. Is it a hologram? Hell, I've seen where even people are saying it's a reflection of Earth itself. Like some cosmic funhouse mirror that we've all been staring at like idiots for a millennia. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you guys tell me what you think the moon is. I mean, well, of course, yes. Well, if I start telling you that it is made of cheese, I might get in trouble. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, what kind of cheese is it, Sam? And then you know, that's just too much classified information. I don't want to go down those roads about cheese and what type of cheese the moon is made of. So, but you know what? Here's the real kicker. You know, because when I'm sitting there thinking about the moon and I'm thinking about, hey, you know, how great it is. I mean, it's just, I mean, think about it for a moment. When was the last time we went to the moon? Well, as Kinzo says, what if it was made of barbecue spare ribs? Would you eat it? Cubs win. Cubs win. I guess that's a baseball reference. So, but yeah, it's do you remember? Do you know when it was the last time we went to the moon? You guys do know, right? When the last time we did go to the moon? 1972. Nixon was still in office. Elvis was still alive. We had wood-paneled station wagons and rotary phones. Yet somehow, we've made zero progress since then. Zero. Allegedly. I mean, we haven't even went to for a return trip for old time's sake. It's like, hey, you know what? You know, let's go up to our moon condos. Nope, no moon condos. Hell, no moon Starbucks. If anything would be up on the moon, it would be a Starbucks. Not even a sequel flag planting mission. Just have that old original one, right? You know what NASA's excuse is? This is absolutely ridiculous. This is the part that I don't get. They say it's budget cuts. Budget cuts? What do you mean budget cuts? And then they also will say, oh, well, we don't have that technology anymore. Wait, what? What do you mean you don't have the technology anymore? So, I mean, I know. I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, wait, we have more technology in your cell phone. You have more technology in your cell phone today than they had for the moon mission. Yeah, I mean, that's what Kinzo's saying. See, all that new technology, and we haven't gone back. Ziggurat says we were told we're not welcome. Not welcome for what? Budget cuts. I want to know who said we're not welcome. Zigga, if you got some information about that, just let me know. Type it in there in the chat. I mean, is there aliens on the moon? What about the dark side of the moon? Didn't you guys see Transformers? The management. Forget management. But I mean, think about it for a moment. Budget cuts. We don't have the technology. Here, the United States can conjure up trillions of dollars for endless wars, bailouts, whatever the hell Congress does on a Tuesday afternoon. But somehow the piggy bank ran dry when it came to revisiting the moon. Come on, you've got to be joking. It doesn't even add up. I mean, meanwhile, you have Elon Musk launching rich people into the stratosphere for weekend getaways. Jeff Bezos is flying penis-shaped rockets into suborbit. Oh, yeah, and that's right. Katy Perry is now considered an astronaut. Think about all those astronauts that had to go through all that training. And all Katy Perry had to do was just shell out a couple of $100,000. And now guess what? She's an astronaut. But nobody seemed to bother to dust off the old lunar plans, you know? Oh, that's right, because they lost them. That's right. Excuse me. That's right. I'm sorry. That's right. They don't even have them anymore. We can map out every inch of your backyard with Google Earth, but the moon? Nah, not going to do it. Not doing it. Absolutely insane. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So what does that leave us? I mean, what do you guys think? Just let me know in the chat if you think what is the reasons why we're not going back to the moon? I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. But here we are, 56 years later, still arguing what? Whether it was real, whether it was fake, or somewhere in between. Is it a triumph of human ingenuity? Or is it just the world's most elaborate marketing stunt, wrapped in tinfoil and broadcast in glorious 480p? When you start thinking about the moon landing, I mean, there's a real genius to all of this. There is. And the real genius of the moon landing in and of itself, it doesn't matter if it happened or not. Because the show of the moon landing in and of itself, well, it worked. It gave America the upper hand, inspired generations of scientists, sold a hell of a lot of tang, and kept people looking up instead of looking around. And let's just face it, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't that what good propaganda is supposed to do? I mean, real propaganda is the one that works, the one that makes you believe, the one that makes you say, oh, no, that actually happened. So when I sit there and I think about this 56th anniversary, 56 years, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say happy anniversary, moon landing. Real or fake, you've been fooling people and fueling debates for 56 years straight. And in this day and age, hell, you know what? That's probably the most impressive achievement of all, allegedly. So, I mean, it's Maybe MGT could help some of those moonshots released to the Congress. Then we'll be able to enjoy them. Well, listen, you know what? I mean, leave it to, listen, the government's not going to release anything. Hell, you know what? They'll sit there and they'll tell you there's an Epstein list, and then they'll say that it's on Pam Bondi the clown's desk, and then it won't even show up. Oh, never mind. There's no such thing. No such thing. But you'll never hear them say there's no such thing as the moon landing, right? And the people who sit there and say, oh, well, we didn't go to the moon. Well, you're just labeled as a crackpot nut job with a tinfoil hat. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. You just can't. You just can't. Remember to text that number 127 to 804-430-5505. 127 to 804-430-5505. You'll do that every single day between now and August the 30th, and you'll be able to hack the planet. And that's real science. Mr. Obvious says, yeah, but just because you're labeled doesn't mean that it's true. Mike is saying the government did lose the original moon landing videotapes. So what is going on here? It's been 1972. 1972 was the last time we went. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, wait a minute. Now, I did see something else. Hey, Mr. Producer, could you pull up the NASA article that I saw this? This was just really interesting. Mr. Obvious says, just because you saw it on TV doesn't make it real. No, I mean, that's what makes it real, right? I mean, that's the whole point, right? When you go and you ask somebody, it's like, well, how do you know the moon landing was real? Old grandma and grandpa will tell you, well, I saw it on TV. I saw it on TV. It's exactly what happened. Absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. Now, I did see this. Now, here's an interesting story. What about unicorns and Bigfoot? Oh, man. That unicorns and Bigfoot, you know what? We're going to have to hold those to another show, right? Next thing you know, people are going to sit there and say, oh, you know about Bigfoot, right? Bigfoot's an interdimensional being. Are they interdimensional beings? Or are they little green men? Are they little gray men? I've been reporting since Roswell. I'm an expert on all this stuff, but there are still quite a few files that are locked behind NDAs that I can't even speak about. We saw Bigfoot in Colorado last summer, didn't we? Might have. Or is it just some guy in a suit? I'm not really sure. But maybe we should do a whole deep dive on Bigfoot one day, huh? That might be something that we could do. But here, we were talking about NASA. Check this out. No, not that one. Not that one. What happens once we spot an asteroid that will hit Earth? NASA will just probably say, oh, by the way, everybody's already down in their bunkers. They're already down in their bunkers. That's what'll happen when they spot an asteroid that'll hit the Earth. Mike Frank says, reality is what you can get away with. If you can't get away with it, then it ain't real. That was Robert Anton Wilson. Let's see here. We also have another one over here. This is the one. Aha, here it is. Let's see here. Let me blow this up a little bit so I can see what this is. Now, you guys are familiar with Area 51. They didn't declassify that until not too long ago. Everybody knew it was there. But check this out. Area 51 staff left with fatal diseases after guarding top secret project. Let's see. Scroll down here a little bit. U.S. Air Force veterans have revealed that many workers at the Area 51 base were killed by cancer. Security guards at Nevada's test and training range, known as the Secret of Area 51, were handed a death sentence by the government due to the presence of an invisible killer on site, that they have said. Area 51 was built in the 1970s on land found to be contaminated with radiation due to years of nuclear testing. However, veterans who survived the ordeal have not been offered medical care by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, and they have not been able to prove that they were exposed to the radiation. Now, my question is that was it the radiation from all of those blasts? Or was it some top secret project? Of course, now you have those images right there that you see on screen. You scroll back up just a little bit, you see the there you go. We have all the hangars, and look at all those. We have the hangars, we have the runways. Then scroll down a little more, we see Nevada, where exactly it is. Former Air Force Sergeant David Crete, who worked at Area 51 between 1983 and 1987, said that the left side of his brain was dying due to atrophy. He told the House Veterans Affairs Committee that he was one of the luckier ones, as 490 of his co-workers died of severe illness since serving at the former nuclear site. I love how they're calling it the nuclear site, and they're not calling it, oh, the place where we did weapons testing, right? Sargent said that an airman had lost his life at 33 after serving in the unit, and his fellow servicemen had lived to an average age of 65. So is it radiation from the blast, from the nuclear blast? Or was it because they were working on something that was top secret? Despite concerns over Area 51's radiation risk, a government report insisted that stopping projects being carried out there would be against, that's right, you know it, ladies and gentlemen, it'll be against national security interest. Right. Yeah. That's always what they say. Oh, it's a, security interest, national security interest. So, however, veterans have been left without evidence to prove their exposure because the top secret nature of their work meant their records had been data masked. Like I said, it's all wrapped and sealed under NDAs. So, I mean, they can't even really prove that they got cancer from what they were working on because they had to sign a bunch of NDAs saying, oh, by the way, anything we're working on, we can't talk about it. Oh, everything that I was working on, well, yeah, I can't talk about it, but I swear it gave me cancer. Doctor's going to just look at you and say, what? What are you talking about? Sargent added that the radiation risks were not just a health hazard for servicemen, but also their families, to whom have never even been able to explain what they did while they were at the top secret base. So think about that for a moment. You sit there, you go to the base, you go work on a bunch of projects, and then you can't even talk about it. You go home to your family. All of a sudden, the radiation that you're working around or working with or whatever, but you can't really talk about it because it's top secret, can't really say anything about it. But then guess what? You have to sit there and go home to your family, and then all of a sudden they have some issues. Oh, now here's interesting. The secrecy of Area 51. Known as a top secret facility operated by the U.S. Air Force located at Groom Lake in southern Nevada, apart from its only confirmed use as a flight testing facility, the site is off limits to the public and media. Its name comes from its designation on maps by the Atomic Energy Commission. The base has given rise to many conspiracy theories, with many claiming to have witnessed UFOs near Area 51. These are accounted for by military aircraft tests, according to the CIA. Workers reached the site by air from a designated terminal at Las Vegas McCarran. McCarran? Is it McCarran or McCarran? Anyways, the Las Vegas International Airport. Now, here's what's very interesting. Remember, there was just not too long ago that release of information that said that the Department of Defense, the DOD, they were just making up alien stories this whole time. There's no such thing as aliens because the Department of Defense said, "Oh, by the way, yeah, we're the ones that were pushing all those UFO alien stories. That was us. My bad. Our bad. Sorry about that." Going back to these poor families, though, it says right here, my wife had 3 miscarriages. One of the guys that I work with, his wife had 7. 7. All 4 of my children were born with birth defects or significant health problems, and it's not their fault. I'm not saying it's mine, but I'm the one that brought it home. Another veteran said working at the base at a young age felt very special, as his mother knew absolutely zero about the nature of his activities. So, but here we have two Congress bills have been introduced to provide more support for these Area 51 veterans: the Protect Act and the Forgotten Veterans Act. A previous bill was signed by then President Bill Clinton in 2000 to provide compensation for veterans who had worked at certain government sites. But the sergeant said that the only acknowledgement of his service came from the late Senator John McCain, who told him that his unit ended the Cold War. Seems like that this publication has approached the U.S. Air Force for comment, but it seems like that no comment has been given. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you sit there and you have Area 51 actively giving people cancer, making people have miscarriages. Mike says maybe a ramjet powered by air flowing over a mini reactor. Russia may have one in service. Something exploded near Finland a few years ago, leaking radiation. Theoretically, they can fly for years. Yeah, who knows? I mean, once again, we don't know. We don't know because the NDAs were signed and they have to sit there. Can you imagine going to your doctor and saying, "Doctor, I have cancer and it was given to me by the stuff that I was working on for the government." The doctor says, "Why don't you tell me all about it?" "Well, I can't, doc." "Well, why is that?" "Because it's classified." That's what it always is, right? It's always just classified. Can't talk about it. Can't do anything. Just classified. Man. I do see a comment here talking about Jeffrey Epstein. We'll get back to the Epstein stuff tomorrow. So I do promise you that. I have some Epstein stuff that I've been holding off on. So we'll get back to Epstein tomorrow. I do promise that. But absolutely insane. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, your heart goes out to these families, right? People that are sitting there thinking that, hey, you know what? I'm doing a good thing. I'm doing a great thing. I'm serving my country. Serving it right into a cancer ward. That's what. A tip of the cap to Casual Toy Collector. Says he voted for Sam again. Thank you, Casual. I appreciate that. Tip of the cap to you, sir. Nan Sullivan says, betrayal. Betrayal, betrayal, betrayal. It is betrayal. I mean, just think, your tax dollars are going to projects that are giving the people working on them cancer. Think about that. Oh, yeah, and also your tax dollars are going to the Department of Justice that is covering up child sex trafficking as well. But, you know, hey, I mean, you know, that's what can you do? What can you do? I mean, I don't know. I don't know, but I tell you, Casual says, man, they've been giving us cancer. They've been giving us cancer from the damn food. You know, it's like, oh, by the way, we have all these carcinogenic compounds in your food, starting with your Lucky Charms in the morning, for God's sake. Can't even eat a bowl of Lucky Charms without worrying about that you're going to get cancer a couple hundred years later. I say a couple hundred years later. That's what it feels like, right? Oh, now there's a good one. Casual says, William Cooper wrote about it in Behold a Pale White Horse. Shout out to you, Casual. So, and then they give food stamps to gain data on what food people eat. Make sure that they're actually eating the cancer food, right? Make America Green Again says Special Agent Kelly McGuire testified that her team forced entry into Epstein's compound, swept through all 40 rooms, plastic bins, hard drives, all that stuff. What about the hard drives over at Area 51? Oh, that's right. They're classified. Can't get into that, right? But hey, but guess what? Keep eating those Lucky Charms, you know, and keep having all those seed oils. And then you have was it RFK Jr., this whole Maha thing? What a Trojan horse. What a Trojan horse. Did you see the video where he said, you know what, this is going to put a system in place where people could be digitally monitored for their health? Oh, my gosh. Talk about a bait and switch. You know, the whole time Trump wasn't in office, everybody was like, hey, guess what? I don't like them spying on me. I don't want it. This is terrible. You know, they're invasion of my privacy. And then all of a sudden Trump gets in and they're like, hey, go ahead and, have this little data gatherer. It's going to be for your health. And everybody's like, oh, this is great. Oh, my gosh. Maha, 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 maha. Absolutely insane. Yeah, cheap foods. Ramen noodles. They're not even real noodles. I don't even know what they are. And then he gave Elon all that data. That's what Casual is saying. That's true, too. I mean, it might all backfire. We'll see. We'll see. And people might just continue to just bend over and grab the soap. Hey, I'm protected. The red team is in, so I'm protected. You know, damn the blue team. But hey, you know what? If the red team's in there, they're doing it because, they're going to, they're all looking out for us, right? It's what I've said this whole time. I've said this whole time. This whole system that is being put in place that you think is going to be beneficial, eventually it's going to be turned back towards you and used against you. So don't get all comfortable, ladies and gentlemen, and sitting there and thinking, oh, well, guess what? I mean, you know what? The government is looking out for you. Here's my question I always ask people. Would the government ever lie to you? I mean, think about that. I mean, you literally go and vote every single year in November thinking for a moment that, hey, you know what? The government is looking out for me and they're looking out for my best interest. Are they? Are they? They're giving cancer to people working on top secret projects at Area 51. And by the way, remember, we haven't been back to the moon since 1972. So as you guys are going through your day and your evening, just remember, go outside, look up at the moon for a moment and wave at it and say, hello, moon. Hi, how you doing? Miss you. Hope to come back again someday. Absolutely ridiculous. Kenzo says, thanks, Sam. I just dumped out my Lucky Charms. Hey, Sam, my vote was suppressed today. What do you mean it was suppressed? That's news. You have to wait 24 hours, a full 24 hours before you can vote again. So if it was a certain time at night and you're trying to do it the day, so you have to wait a full 24 hours for the time to reset. But just let us know if your vote was still suppressed tomorrow, because we will be back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock Eastern time. We'll be going over all the news of the day, more Epstein stuff, because I know we're going to get more Epstein stuff. But until then, you guys know what to do. Right down there, you need to text 127-2804-430-5505. That's 127-2804-430-5505 every day from now until August 30th. So, oh yeah, we'll get into that. We will get into that. That the Ghislaine Maxwell wants to actually go in front of Congress and everything. Yeah, you know what? I'll believe that when I see it too. So, tip of the cap to Prophet Director. Want to thank all of you guys for joining into the show. Real quick, let me see here. I'll bring in the producer here real quick. Let's see here. Jordan, real quick, before we head out this evening, just tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
You guys can reach me on Twitter at Divulgence Pod. You can catch the Divulgence podcast on the Divulgence YouTube channel. And if you want to email me, you can reach me at divulgencepod@gmail.com.
Jordan, do we go to the moon? You don't have to answer it. Don't answer it. Don't answer it. You can say allegedly. Allegedly.
I mean,
right?
It's hard to believe.
It's
very hard to believe.
Well, I mean, we haven't been back since 1972. But yeah, hey, guess what? You know what? We're gonna get those condos on Mars pretty soon, right? I mean, those are coming. Those are gonna come faster than the moon condos. No need to go to the moon and have a condo on the moon when we can just skip that and just go right to Mars, right?
I know. Makes sense. Well, Elon apparently has all the answers. So
he has all the answers, and Jeff Bezos have rockets that look like penises. But hey, what can you do? What can you do?
Right.
Thank you so much, Jordan. We appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow night. So good grief. Good grief. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. You just can't make it up. But with that, like I said, if you want to hack the planet, text 127-804-430-5505. That's 127-804-430-5505 every day until August the 3rd. Every cell phone in your house, every family member that you know, all of your coworkers, grab their cell phones, have them text that number, have them set a reminder. So, and it'll all be well. Hopefully we'll be able to win the best local morning radio show this year. Brought to you by the Richmond Times-Dispatch. And well, of course, with that, ladies and gentlemen, you can follow me at Sam Newsman all over social media. That's at Sam Newsman all over social media. Remember, go outside, look at the moon, give it a nice little wave, because 56 years ago, we planted a flag on it. Allegedly. Oh, that Game of Thrones is what they play. A house of cards just day by day. Voters losing every way. It's just like I always say. Oh, it's sideshow infotainment. Politicians and news anchors and talking points that make my eardrums bleed. The most trusted puppet in media is me. Reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam Newsman.